Hello, Aramis MVP. Hello, Aramis MVP. I throw a QR. All right. Let's mute things that should be muted. Oh, yeah. Hello, WikiLeaks83. Hello, Ecclechok. Hello, take the bus part to. What is going on here, folks? I'll restart that. Stupid. Hi, Tarbanlow. I got a lot of potions. One thing that is a bummer is Northern Germany does not have. I'm not going to say any, but I couldn't find any. Um, I could not find any Eastern Black Bean, which is a super important component for Strong Arm and New Wind, but I have a ton of Essence of Grace. I have like 30 some Essence of Grace. So I'm going to try to blast through this. Also, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wear armor that is heavier than I should normally, just to try to deal with the incoming damage from the fucking Super Knights or whatever the fuck those dudes were. They're bad. Okay, here we go. I bet if I went to Vienna in game, I could get some. I think the southern cities actually do have the Eastern Black Bean. I would not be surprised at all if Vienna had it. Okay, I think there was maybe one. I was going to do a little more potioning. Come on, boars. Using it can prevent death from combat. Oh. Alright, well. Just die. Microprose is back with original founder. Cool. Crumpy? Do you mean grumpy? Or is crumpy a word I don't know? Weeble. Viennese people are quite friendly, in my experience. Although I say that, and now that I think about it, most of the people I know from Vienna aren't from Vienna. Yeah, now that I think about it. Although the one woman I know from Vienna is genuinely very friendly and nice. So, and she was born in Vienna. Yeah, I realized a lot of the other Viennese people I know are German, Belgian, Polish. Let me see. There was some other potion I was supposed to make that I forgot. I'm gonna try to do that now. What's up with this camera? Oh god, the noise. It's like, yeah, I was, back in late 2015, I went to Vienna with my then girlfriend, and we went to God, it's kind of a kind of a... Oh, I know there's tons of famous cafes in Vienna. Um, we went to one of them, and we were waiting, and we got seated with this couple that I thought was Viennese, and we started speaking German, and I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm communicating so easily with these Viennese people. It's like their Hochdeutsch is just like the German I learned. And, and then somehow it came up, and they were like, no, we're from Dusseldorf, and I'm like, okay, that makes a lot more sense, since every single person that I've learned German from has been from Nord Rhineland-Westfalen, so no surprise. Hello, Baron von Bad Beaver. The Zodani conspiracy. Yeah, that does sound kind of problematico. Okay, let me go. Let me go to the Gast house. Let's find out what alchemy... Oh, I was going to make more flea dust because it said... It said the dude, the demon lord, is vulnerable to flea dust. So I'm going to do this. Sure. Let me see if there's any potions like become a super big baby. Become a weakling baby. Agility and fighting skill decline. Noxious aroma. Eye burn. Skills the person hit are greatly reduced. It's very general. Black cloud, flea dust, eater water I hate using. Breath of death. You know what? Let me look up Breath of Death. Alkindi. Okay, so that's 7 to 14 damage. Well, I guess it ignores armor, so that's nice. Yeah, sunburst, stunning. Well, I took Spanish for 4 years and then I forgot. Well, I didn't forget most of it, but it just if you don't have opportunities to speak a language or listen to the media or read stuff, you lose it. And I've talked to native Germans and things like that who have lived in the United States for a long time, and if they don't engage with people in German, it just ossifies, kind of. Yeah, I mean, like I took German for years in university, and then I went to Germany, and I mean, I could communicate very badly, but it was really hard and frustrating. It took me 3 visits to Germany before I became comfortable maintaining conversations. So, and I mean, now I've studied it for, I mean, out of an academic environment for like 10 years. So, but yeah, the more, I mean, like I haven't been to a German speaking place in like 9 months now, and my brain is falling apart. I'm forgetting things. I have like 2 people I speak German with regularly, and that's it. And not even regularly, just rarely. Anyway, thunder potions, potion seller, thunderbolt. Let's take a look. What thunderbolt? Target adjacent foes and foes in the area. I'll try making some thunderbolt. Yeah, best way to learn a language is to be in an environment where you have to use it a lot. Which, again, in Germany can be a little difficult because everyone's fluency in English. I shouldn't say everybody. So much of the populace has high fluency in English. So it's very easy to switch over. Ooh, I don't have manganese. WikiLeaks 83, will there be more game design theme streams in the future? Probably. They take some time to put together. So, God, I need manganese. Manganese. Take some time to put that stuff together. Albertus Magnus is great power. Ooh, high risk magic. When you visited a friend, you were hanging out with his friends, but they were too intimidated and nervous to speak English. I did, you know, back in 2012 or so, I went to Hinterzotten, which is north of Freiburg, and there were a lot of men and women in their early 20s who were working at the resorts in Hinterzotten, which is not super touristy. Like it's not a big on the it's in the middle of the Black Forest and it's near Freiburg, but Freiburg is not that happening. sorry if there are any Freiburgers in here. But they didn't speak English much at all. But I think it's a combination of them being young and living in a remote area. And also, yeah, like if you go into a remote, like I've gone into rural Allgäu and rural parts of Bavaria, and they're not even really speaking Hochdeutsch anymore, and much less English. So, anyway, I'll try this. Whoops. Can I go back there? Nope. I guess I'm gonna do alchemy in the wilderness. Whoops! God damn it! That was high risk. That's the consequence of high risk magic, everybody. I'm gonna do alchemy in the wild. Let's keep trying the risky formula. I think if I do even Rusht, great power. Oh, that's also high risk magic. Counter pillow, high risk, low reward is my kind of lifestyle. Well, this should be good. Like, man. All right, let's go for it. Okay, so remembered why you thought there was gold weight in this game. You can convert weighty gold to notes of credit. Yeah, that's what they say, but they don't, like, I don't think that's a thing. Or if it is, it's a completely invisible mechanic. Yeah, I remember converting my weighty coin to a note, and I was like, I don't think this made any difference. All right, let's roll the bones here. Well, that was waste of some expensive shit. Just work. At least it didn't explode. Alright. If I don't do this, I will be out of nickel, and I will be unable to make this formula. Okay. Actually, I'm playing Ars Magica. I played Ars Magica for about 2.5 years. And, played Ars Magica for about 2.5 years, and I really loved the character that I played. He wound up being really fun in a lot of ways. And, Alchemy done. Wound up being a lot of fun in a lot of ways. And he was shockingly, well, not shockingly, he was really resistant to damage. He had a really high soak, even though he was a little teeny guy. And the worst damage he ever suffered was during a lab experiment where he basically blew himself up. And he was lucky that he had a familiar, because yeah, this is a Baron Fun Bad Beaver. Someone recommended Munt, which is a Roland emulator, and it made the music much better. Munt 32, I believe. And what was he saying? Oh yeah, so my character blew himself up, and then his familiar went downstairs and alerted someone, and he didn't die, but he was incapacitated, and that was the closest he came to death in 2.5 years of play. In 90, no, not quite 90, but 80 years of in-game play. That was the closest he came to die. Alright, am I going to try this shit again? I lose every time, but I'm going to try it again. It's excuse me, it's Italian. It's Wretched Garin. Garin Meschino. Meschino? Yeah, Meschino. Alright. Alright, we're gonna go in. By the way, I may have to redo a bunch of stuff in here. I don't know if this saved the state. Here we go. Ooh. All right. Oh boy, this is looking like everything respawned. I'm not going to go into those places though. I am just going to go straight in. Because I think I can actually avoid a lot of combat second time in. I don't need to redo all this shit. Reinhard. There we go. There we go, everybody. Just that easy. The potions in the chest might respawn, but it is not worth fighting like 6 Templars to get the potions. And I already made, like, I can't remember, I think they're either 35 or 45 quality Essence of Grace potions. So they're good. 45 quality, baby. I'm going to distribute a few of these. These are Michael Scott, not to be confused with the character from The Office. This is the best formula. So by the way, I told you that I was having trouble finding Essence of Grace formulae. So what I did is I wandered. I reloaded from before I got my ass kicked, and I found a down. I went back down the way I came, and I found an alchemy lab. And the alchemy lab had this desk that you can keep going to and getting alchemical formulae from. And it's kind of cheap, but then again, so is this dungeon. So I just kept revisiting that. I didn't save scum it. I just Kept going back and forth until I got all the formula I needed, and then I left, and then I wandered. I also deleted my current save, and I lost 2 hours of gameplay. So I actually played last night like 3.5 hours because I lost a bunch of time. Whoops. So yeah, I got formulae for Strong Arm, Essence of Grace, and New Wind, which I think I had one formula for Strong Arm, but that was it. That was like the only thing I had for as far as healing stuff. Are you guys coming? Okay. Let's turn on the fan. It's already getting kind of warm in here. All right. Whoops. Stop. That is weird, warrior. All right, guys. All right, so actually, hold on a moment. Not what I wanted to do. It's time to abuse alchemy. And by abuse, I mean use it for its intended purpose. I got a bunch of 25 quality iron, because that's the problem, is that it's only 25 quality iron arm. But here we go. Boom, 42. Thank you. All right. Boom, 47. Do you believe in life after love? Ooh, 41. Wait a minute. I gave her a great power. Where is it? Or not great power, a strong arm. Where is it? Iron arm. There we go. Oh, she has 2 of them. That's why. Ocean cellar. All right. So we did that. And now she has those. These are the weakest potions. See, I only have one. Here we go. Here we go, my friends. It appears my armor is thicker than you thought, young Templars. This is going to get really close to heavy load. You know what? Heavy load is not that big of a deal. Severe load is bad. But the thing is, if I don't armor up, these guys are just going to fucking bash my face in. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hildegard has too much stuff. Okay. So... Actually, I'm just going to have her use Great Power. Anyway. What was I doing? Plate, right? I gave her some plate vitals somewhere. There we go. And then 37 quality scale. That's right, I bought that in bought that back in Nuremberg. Okay, so that's good. Sorry, I'm gonna be Bless of Magicaster. Triplet maximize mine. I'm just gonna oh fuck. Yo, Overlord. I don't really watch much anime, but Overlord is quite amusing. Great power. All right. Use that. All right, I'm just amping up here. Yeah, I mean, I think there are ways to get around the potion like weirdness. You know, like the toxicity in Witcher. I think a perfectly fine way to do it. Okay, so now I'm great powered. Actually, am I ready? Not quite yet. So his load is 70. Let's see. Essence of Grace is well, yeah, you want to be at max toxicity. I don't think it's a bad thing. You want people to use potions, right? That's why you put them in the game. You don't want people, but the thing is, like, the way that most consumable systems work is it perversely discourages people from using potions because they're consumables. But no, I mean, like, I think that if you have consumables, the idea in your head is you want players to use those. So what do you want the goal to be? Do you want the player to only use X amount of potions? Do you want them to use only potions so often? Figure out what you want the gameplay goal to be, and then design the mechanics to support that goal. Which is a simple thing to say, but that's what you're designing for. I kind of want to give her... she has her military hammer, but I kind of want to give her... I kind of want to give her the Great Hammer. Heavy load. But you know what? I think New Wind... I think if I give her... no, that's not what I wanted, but okay. There we go, New Wind. I think New Wind will take her endurance above max. Let's try this. Ooh, that's a normal load. It's normal. Guess what? There's another round of buffing I forgot to do. 1, 3. Well, he already had that. That's right. Okay. Boom. Oh, what's this? Now we're using two-handed swords, baby. Yeah, potions that recharge are cool. So let's see here. Where'd your new winds go? Okay, there we go. New wind. And then ah crap. I already used great power on the fuck. Shit. I used great power on the different weapon. Ah, whatever. Whoops. All right. Here we go. All right, this is great. Buffed to the gills. Just one moment, folks. Okay. Come on, let's go. It's great. Come on in, boys. The water's fine. What are you doing? Throw. Are those the only offensive potions? Sure, throw some flea dust. Go for it, August. All right. All right, let's murder this guy. Wolfie looks like she's attacking, but she doesn't have a... Oh, there we go. There's some great hammerage. Yeah, that is the power of the great hammer, my friends. I'm just going to have her go berserk. Die. And I'll have Connie parry, because why? Just parry, dude. Let Wolfie do the heavy lifting. Come on. Whoa. Okay, here we go. What are you doing? Whoa, Connie, getting in over your head there, my friend. You guys want to stand in a doorway? Cool. We'll shoot you. Battle needs Hatto. It does. I think in my last playthrough, Hatto was one of my characters. My alchemist, actually. I think he was named after the bishop, the rat tower bishop from Bingen. Rat tower bishop. Let me see if I can find that guy. Mouse tower, sorry. All right, I'm linking it in the. Actually, just a moment. There we go. Gotta love Hato. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. You know what? Why don't you just back the fuck up, dude? Because you're clearly not cutting it. In spite of your alchemical buffs. Back up. This is being really unresponsive. Hi, glorious strategist. This is just, it's slow. It's very unresponsive. And this is a little annoying because everyone's weapon skills are pretty fucking good at this point. Yeah, Hato never really got a chance to shine. Well, August started off in this playthrough being really bad, and I was not doing alchemy, but now he has the highest edged weapon skill in the game. So, of the whole party. Okay, this is... Thing is, like, playing smart means playing really slow, because, just, God, this is so tedious. Alright. Just go berserk, August. Uh-oh. Come on, man. Okay, what is this? Okay. Notice, though, that no one is taking any strength damage at all. This is all endurance damage that we're taking because of how tough the armor is. Got everyone in plate, vitals, and chain limbs. Oh my god, please let me get through this battle. Fighting Templars is so boring. Like, note that, I mean, Wolfie's weapon skills could be better. Like, I think she has a 70 something, but I mean, 70 is not bad. 74 impact. But even with her, it takes her forever. Come on. Ugh, come on, man. What? He can't attack from there. Give me a break. Yeah, almost all the weapons in Dead Money I specifically designed for killing the things in that DLC. So, come on. So whether it's the superheated, the cosmic knife, or whatever, extra limb damage, all that stuff. August, what is going on? Why is this so much more difficult? This was actually easier the last time I did this. Ugh, man. I mean, if I used a bunch of if I made a bunch of offensive potions and then threw them, I could, but like otherwise, not really. God, I need to focus fire this guy down. This is just getting stupid. How is he taking damage? I don't even understand how August is taking damage. No one's attacking him. Please, just attack him. Thank you. Gee whiz, that just took way too long. I think it's those shields. I think those shields make it, large shields make it way harder. It's one of the reasons I love Battle Brothers combat design. Ooh, you know what it's time to do. If you watched the last session, you know what it's time to do. It's time to go look at a fountain. I could use Eater Water. I really don't like using Eater Water though, because you're basically destroying the treasure you get. Eater Water will just annihilate the weapons and the armor. It's really effective, but it basically means at the end of the fight you have almost nothing to take with you if you're fighting armored enemies. The monastery is not the last dungeon. The monastery is the second to last dungeon. There is a boss to fight here. Alright, let's leave. Now let's see if I can go back one more time. Let's see if I can... there we go. I got an extra point. Let's leave. No, the game does not end when you finish the critical path. Now look at that. See? Oh, but now my bonus endurance is gone. Oh well. As long as I keep that bonus strength, though. That's what I really need. I gotta keep that high strength. And thankfully, I don't think I've encountered anything in here that can get through plate. Or even chain. Like, they wear my endurance down, but they haven't. When I got beat, I think everyone still was at max strength. It was all just endurance damage, which is a little frustrating, but does make me a little nervous about doing that stupid fight again. But we'll see. At least now I have potions that I can just spam. I like if nothing else, I can spam my way through that fight. All right. Oh, that's right. What do you mean? Oh, Beelzebub forever. That's right. Nice. Beelzebub forever. Satan rules is actually not far from what the password. There are like two passwords, and one of them was like, I think it was like Satan rules. It was Satan something, and then Beelzebub forever was the other one. What's the password into the Satanic Temple? Satan. Wow, you really are one of us. Which Pathfinder games? The Pathfinder CRPGs? I haven't played the Pathfinder CRPGs, if that's what you're asking. Okay. For the Stag Hall. I noticed after I left this place that my saves were still taking a really long time. I don't know what the deal is, but oh, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. Oops. Okay, so individually. Okay. Uh, okay, here we go. Nice. Okay. It's weird. It is not triggering the cutscene thing. Okay. That was weird. Staghorns. Okay, cool. Got the stags. All right. Do you remember the numbers as well as the reception New Vegas received when it was released in Japan? I heard it was quite popular. Um, I know Fallout 3. I think Fallout 3 was quite popular in Japan. I don't know numbers specifically for Fallout New Vegas in Japan. Well, Cooper Black, this was the first RPG that I know of with real-time with pause. But yeah, nobody used real-time with pause really after that until EG, and then everybody used it. And I think part of that, which I've said before, is turn-based games got kind of big and slow, and I do think even a game like Battle Brothers, the most tedious fights in Battle Brothers are like the Noble Houses fights where there's like 50 guys and it goes on forever. Encounter design has to be really tight and with turn-based, and your mechanics have to be like, and in the 90s that wasn't really a thing. And so I think real-time with pause, people are like, oh, well, if this fight is just a huge clusterfuck of like 40 people, like we'll get through it. We'll get through it eventually. Like in real time with pause, we'll just like, mow through people. But I do think that turn-based games that are with very careful encounter design and very thoughtful design around the mechanics to make sure that that drag doesn't wind up becoming incredibly frustrating are. You'd love to see a game with 3.5e slavishly use the turn-based grid rules of tabletop. Have you checked out Realms Beyond, which is coming out? Well, real time with pause. Also, remember when Baldur's Gate came out, real-time strategy games were very popular, and so real time with pause coming from RTS was like, oh, okay, cool, I got it. I think the thing that carries a lot of the because Fallout 1 and 2's combat is not particularly deep or tactical. I mean, it's not terrible, but I think it's very satisfying because the art is really nice and the sound design is really good and the death animations are extremely satisfying. So that helps a lot. No, 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 no. What the fuck are you doing? Jesus. Yeah, Realms Beyond. It's a pretty small group of developers working on it. I got to visit with Peter. Please forgive me if I got his name wrong. The lead dev on it. I got to hang out with him last year for a while and talk to him and check out the game and the editing tools, which are really cool. You mentioned that there was cut content for New Vegas for the post game. Why wasn't this a DLC focus, like with Broken Steel DLC for Fallout 3? Because it made people fucking mad. Like, people take for granted now that Broken Steel is just kind of part of Fallout 3. But remember that post-game content was not part of Fallout 3. And then if you wanted it, you had to buy a DLC. And at that time, people were mad. At least there was a vocal group of people that seemed quite angry, and I can understand why about it. And I said, let's not do that. Let's just not do that. So that's why. I think, even though a lot of people I'm sure would like post-endgame stuff, I think that the stuff that Avalon designed for the DLC is better than just having post-endgame stuff. And yeah, I think that was better. Okay, am I going to do any more psycho buffing? This fight is really hard. This fight is really hard. Okay, you... August, you need that. Now, one could say, hey, why don't you just release that as a free patch? But that's a lot of content for a free patch, and patching on the 360 was expensive. Like, it costs money to patch. Or it costs. I actually don't know what the process is because it's been a while since I've worked on a console game. Black Cloud, Iburn. Sure, dude. Just give him every... Alright, so I got a lot of Essence of Graces. I don't want to use the Essence of Graces right away because Essence of Grace fucks with Strong Arm, and I think it'll remove my buff. So... Yeah, like I said, like Broken Steel, it's been 12 years since Fallout 3 came out, so that's the thing. You just sort of like now it's so easy to just get all the DLCs at once. It's easy to be like, oh yeah, Broken Steel is just how, like the end of Fallout 3. That's just how Fallout 3 ends. But that was not the way that it was originally. Okay. There was something. There was like, oh yeah, Deadly Blade. That's right. I'm gonna Deadly Blade it. I'm going to give a Deadly Blade to you, and I'm going to give a Deadly Blade to you. My personal opinion now is DLC is more and more questionable to do at all. And if you're going to do it, don't fucking say anything about it. There's like no benefit because everybody just waits. Tons and tons of people just wait until all the DLC is done and then buy the game. As opposed to, you don't say anything about DLC, you just release a game, and then you look at how the game is received, and then you decide, let's make some DLC. And you don't say a fucking thing about it. And then it's almost done, and you go, hey, there's DLC, and then people buy it. It's demonstrably the better way to go about it. Announcing it is almost always bad. Announcing DLC is bad. Okay. I mean, that happened on White March, and because it was part of the Kickstarter thing, and then we broke it into two parts, and it was really frustrating. Building that DLC in two parts was extremely frustrating. Didn't really want to do it that way. And it came out, and the attachment rate to the base game was 11%, which, if you don't know, that's not that good. That's not very good for DLC. And we're like, oh my god, our DLC is selling so badly. What a tragedy. And then months later, the second part of White March came out, and then the attachment rate overall went up to like 28%, which is what you would expect. Slightly better than average. And it's like, yeah, because everyone just waited. And then we saw a huge uptick as soon as we released the complete edition. And it's just, people just wait. People are just waiting for, they want the game to be done. So just don't do that. Yeah, don't even get me started on season passes. Here's the thing, let me just say this. I fucking hate all this shit. I hate pre-sales, I hate pre-order bonuses, I hate fucking season passes. This is all mind game publisher shit to fuck with gamers, basically. I hate using that to fuck with consumers. It's just people who want to buy stuff and play games. And I hate all this mind game shit. I would rather just say, we're making this game. Here's this game. When we have something else for it, you can buy that. And then, like, the publisher, I guess, got to make money, but I hate all that garbage. I've hated every fucking time we've made a pre-order thing for anything. It's just frustrating and dumb, and if we're going to make extra shit, I would just rather make it as part of the game, or like release the game, see how people liked it or didn't like it, and then plan based on that. As a developer, I have a mixed to negative reaction to all that shit. I don't pre-order anything. Like, the only thing I pre-order really is, I mean, if you consider Kickstarter. No, what the fuck are you doing? The whole party. No, the whole fucking party. What are you doing? What are you... I don't know why it did that. The whole party should have gone right there, but, how do I feel about stuff like Javik and Mass Effect 3 where a day one DLC is legitimately detrimental to the overall experience of the game? Bad. Like, if your question is, how do you feel about a thing that makes the game worse for players? I think it's bad. Here's my controversial opinion. I think it sucks shit to do things specifically to make the game, like, less enjoyable. Now, there are times where you make the game in such a way where it's hard to avoid. There's trade-offs. Some segment of the audience is going to like it, and some segment is not going to like it. And you just got to kind of go like, oh, some of these people are not going to like this, and that's why. God, why is going upstairs so fucking hard in this game? What are you doing? Like, there's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of stuff where, you know, like internally on Deadfire, there were players that very much were into super traditional groggy stuff. Why is it doing this? This is really driving me fucking nuts. This did not do this the last time I came here. If I'm being pounded on by dudes on the other side of this, immediately I'm going to be fucking pissed off. Okay, so... Okay. I'm going to eye-burn these guys. We're going to see how this goes. Come on. Okay, I got most of them. Fuck them up. This is the hardest fight that I've had in the game so far. This is the one that I lost last time. So, Connie, get the fuck over there, you dumb shit. Get the impression that a lot of people pre-order because it's like futures and raging. Hype never lives up to reality. Yeah, I mean, it's total hype shit. Like, I don't... That's all it is. It's hype. It doesn't have anything to do with, like... There's no reason to do it. It's just like, I'm so excited, I gotta get the thing. Especially with digital products, there's no scarcity. Like, what the fuck do you care? Or like pre-order the day before or whatever, like if you want to preload the content, but like... Well, here's the other thing too, Frigolet, and I will say this straight up openly, like, there's a lot of people that are very old school gamers that are really fucking bad at analyzing game balance. Like, just heads way the fuck up their ass. They don't they don't know what they're talking. Some of them are incredibly good. Some of them are better than me. But there are a lot of people that, because they've been playing these games a long time, they believe they've got it down and they have like a really good bead on game balance. And obviously everything is subjective. But then you see how they play and just fucking get their asses kicked or whatever and it's like, okay, like, feel free to have your opinion, but it reminds me, back on the Something Awful forums, there was they had like this crazy battle royale. I can't remember the exact name of it. It was several years ago. I've used the example of Lollerskate before. It was like this super like deathmatch thing where it was like bracketed head to head, like build your own character with all these points. And there were all these people in the thread that thought they were like the fucking king shit hard asses of min-maxing characters. And almost all of them were just terrible. and their characters just got mercilessly slaughtered by the people that were like actually very, very good at min-maxing. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that have been playing oh, wow, everyone's getting there. Like, I don't think I'm that good at it. I'm fine at it. And there are people that are way better at it than I am. And when I do come across people that do a better job at analyzing balance and stuff like that, I try to just incorporate their feedback. I mean, even like RPG Codex, I think I've said this before, someone pointed me to a tier ranking of spells in Pillars 1. And, you know, it was, you know, the usual shit talking or whatever. But then, like, within that shit were the precious kernels of corn that could be used to actually make the game better. And so every once in a while, even in the most withering sort of critique, there is some good feedback. It's just few and far between. I could have sworn that I gave everybody... I don't want New Wind, I want Essence of Grace. Oh, that's right, this sort's really weird. That's right, it's up here. Okay, let's... Ooh, baby! There we go. Well, I think ciphers, you're right. There were tons and tons of nerfs to ciphers, and people got mad about it, and nobody likes nerfs. But also, I think it's kind of indisputable that ciphers in Pillars 1 were phenomenal. Ah, see, this is what sucks, is I use Essence of Grace, and it fucks up the strong arm, and it ticks it down, but you can't fight with 0 endurance. But, like, Amplified Wave was ridiculous, and it's, perhaps if I were better, I would do a better job of tuning that stuff before it came out. Not Grease, but essentially Grease. I can't remember. Slicken, yeah. That was obscene at launch. We fixed it within the first week, but it was like it just kept ticking, and it was wild. Yeah. Here's a pro tip. If you die, it is hard to make the enemy die. Chanters were very hard. I will say Chanters started with a design idea from Tim Kane, because I was like, nah, like let's like, what can we do with bards? Because bards are thematically really cool, but mechanically, other than like 4th edition, often feel like in combat feel like a 6th wheel. And just like when the rules for a game change while you're trying to play it, that's fair, but basically it was really hideously unbalanced to the point where, okay, let me give an opinion on game balance. I don't actually take pleasure from finding obvious exploits to the naked eye that are obscenely overpowered and then just blasting through a game in them. I don't think I'm very smart when I do that. I think I'm doing a thing that is incredibly obvious. And so when a game gets rebalanced and the super obscenely powerful stuff gets nerfed down and other things become more viable and there's more of a tactical consideration to what things are used, then I start to feel like, oh, like Battle Brothers. I think Battle Brothers is much better balanced than Pillars 1 or 2. It's obviously a much more focused game, but it is much more balanced. And there's a much greater challenge figuring out like, oh, like what do I really want to use here? Like what do I really want to take? There's more decision making and there's more real analysis going on. But like Slicken, first level Slicken pre-patch, it's like cool. Like that, you win the game. Yeah, I mean, I assume the player is going to try to break the game over their knee and tune it that way. I assume everyone is going to be as big of a grifter and exploiter as I am. So, yeah, I guess that's the thing is, I don't want people to, like, even after all of the tuning in Deadfire, there are people that can do the ultimate. And that gulf of player mastery is between like I'm playing like a normal human being and I'm doing the ultimate is enormous. Like I can't do the ultimate. Like all the people that have done the ultimate are better at system analysis than I am. Obviously. But yeah, I mean like when people say, "Oh my god, like the stats on companions are so bad. How could you possibly beat the game with the stock companion stats?" And I'm like, what? That's like the least of your concern. Like there are so many other things that are far more influential to what? It's just like stock character stats. Like, oh my god, Devil of Carrick is in medium armor. How could I possibly use her? What? Her dexterity isn't completely maxed out, completely worthless. It's like, don't get me wrong, like it makes a difference, but then if you actually start breaking down like all the stats and mechanics, it's not inconsequential, but it is not that important. It's really not. Yeah, like I beat the game. I beat the game on veteran. I beat the game on veteran with the stock companions, which I know is not a tremendous accomplishment, but like that's above average difficulty. It's not that hard. It's man, oh man, these guys just fucking like I think I have a pretty good awareness of where my player skill is relative to like actually good players. And so when I say like this is not that hard, like it's not that hard because I'm not that good. So if I can do it, probably a lot of other people can do it. And there are a lot of other people that can do shit that I can't without modding the companions. Or without companions at all. Yeah, I mean, like, out of the gate, Pillars 2 was... I don't know if you could just auto-attack everything to death. I think that might be an exaggeration. Like, you might need to have people actually cast spells, but it didn't require much effort at all. It was pretty easy. Well, that's the thing. When you say people don't want to play a 14 dex rogue or a 12 strength fighter, they want an 1800 fighter with a longsword getting 3 attacks per turn. That's the thing. There's nothing interesting about that at all. Like, why not just say fighters have 1800 strength? All fighters have 1800 strength, 18 dex, and 18 con. Why have stats at all? Why have stats at all if basically there's just one way to build a character effectively? And if you don't build your character that way, it's just either because you weren't willing to sit and reroll stats, or I don't know. It's just the incredibly like super genius player analyzes second edition AD&D and says, after 20 years, 30 years of in-depth analysis, I've come to the incredible conclusion, which may shock you, that you should max out your strength, dexterity, and constitution. Yeah. and you can dump these other stats. And if the game doesn't use will save modifications from wisdom, then you can dump wisdom too. Like, I'm not saying the stat design in Pillars 1 or 2 is incredible. I don't think that old AD&D stat design makes for interesting character builds. Like, it makes for some interesting gear stuff, but like, it's basically get the highest stats you can. Get high stats and win. Like, I don't even think this is not strategically deep or tactically deep, obviously. Still fun to play, but there is some strategy to how you build your character from the beginning. It's very noob trappish. Here's some advice, folks. If you play first or second edition AD&D, if you play a wizard, you should have a high intelligence. It's a little tip. You've been around as long as I have. Is interesting the opposite of optimal? I think that interesting can be, for example, like if you want to build to, and I brought this up in my talk, like if you want to build to the sort of stereotype, then there is a way to play that character that is very effective. If you want to play an average strength, high int wizard in Pillars, then you can play like basically a buff debuff type character, more of a self buff and malice based character, not so much damage based. You can do that. But then if you want to say, well, I want to build a high might character, okay, well now you're probably focusing on damage, or you're using a weapon and you're casting offensive damage spells specifically. Stuff like that. Oh, did I save my game? Oh, I did save my game. Okay. Well, yeah, so I've given this example before, like, or it's not even like really it's not a single example. I've seen plenty of players who had character concepts that sounded cool, and from a fantasy perspective, you're like, that sounds really interesting and awesome. And then you think about how the mechanics work, and you're like, you are not going to make a good character. Like, this will be a character that is a cool concept and mechanically bad. And depending on what game system you're in, that sort of a character can still be fun to play. But when you get into the mechanical soup of the game, especially if it's combat, they're bad. They're just fucking terrible characters to play mechanically. And I don't think it needs to be that way. Like, I think if you come up with a character concept, nice. What? I don't even know what this is. Yeah, like I want, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is the only way. And again, I'm not even saying that this is the best way or my way that I've done things and pillars is the way to do things. Um, but I do think it's certainly a way that can be fun for a lot of people. Because I do really like the idea of I have a character concept and I want to play it. And yeah, you could say you could always do that and just like suffer whatever. Yeah, I mean, if you have a game that's really mechanically light, then it becomes a lot easier. It's much easier to conceive of how all the things work together, whether it's Numenera or Torchbearer or yeah, because the thing is even let me. It's been a while since I played Torchbearer, but I'm trying to think of how GURPS. So GURPS, I would say GURPS is another one that's kind of interesting because GURPS leans very heavily into simulationism, and again, that can be sort of the thing is that you say, I want the game to be a simulation, and it's more about sort of saying, knowing that we're simulating this, come on, man. Who the fuck are these guys? Come on. So GURPS will leans very heavily into like we're simulating everything. Or, for example, Rifts is another one. Where Rifts, you can really, it's really obvious that game balance was just not a concern. Um, like GURPS and Rifts, I just don't even think they're in the same sort of category of tabletop role playing game as D&D. D&D has as its heart, like combat is a part of a lot of all of these games that I'm talking about. But D&D started as a tactical combat game with strategic character building. The strategic element got more important over time. How you build your characters, what stats you pick, what eventually skills and perks you pick, what gear you use. GURPS and Rifts are not really like that, but like there's this sense in D&D that there's well, so call bluff. What I would say is game balance any concern role playing wise? If I'm playing a game where half of every game session is fighting shit, then yes. Like I would say yes. If I'm going to sit in a room for 4 hours and an hour to two of that is going to be life or death combat, then I think game balance is important to some extent. And it's debatable what extent it needs to be to any given player, but it's not irrelevant. Because if your character dies, you can't roleplay that character anymore. But then you can also have very light games where balance is not a concern. You can have games that are just pure role playing and it's not a concern at all. And then you have games that are more sort of, I say simulationist, but it's like, it's kitchen sinky. Like I say GURPS is like that, Palladium, Rifts is like that, where it's kind of like Torg. If anyone remembers Torg, like you have all this stuff in a big old soup. No, call bluff, but assuming everyone gets same skewed balance, doesn't that cancel each other out? No, it doesn't. Sorry, but this goes back to what people were talking about with 4th edition AD, or not AD&D, sorry, 4th edition D&D, which is people say, well, everyone gets dailies, everyone gets encounters, everyone gets utilities, everyone gets at wills, all characters are the same, and they don't play the same at all. Like, at all. And especially when you get into the mid and high levels in 4th ed D&D, those characters, yes, they all have the same number of abilities. They all have encounters and dailies and at wills and all that shit, but they mechanically play completely differently. They just do. If everything is broken, nothing is broken. But here's the thing. If you're playing in a tabletop game, especially, but this also applies to CRPGs, if there are things, when people talk about noob traps, it's not fun to step in a noob trap. It's not fun to be the noob stepping into the trap. Now, there are some games that will allow you to buy your way, like basically correct your errors. But if you're the player who's like, I have this cool character concept, and the game doesn't really let you know in any way, and the other players don't let you know in any way that that character is going to fucking suck, then, because, like, let's not be disingenuous. Like, everything is broke. Toughness is not a good feat. It's not a good feat. And if you go back and read designer philosophies from WotC on toughness, they're like, yeah, this is intentionally like a noob trap so that players who don't take it feel better. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, and maybe that's slightly uncharitable, but that's kind of it. But then if you're the player that takes it, then you just have a shitty character. And in tabletop games, you might be stuck playing this character for years. Or here's a better example, 3rd edition D&D. Do you want spring attack? If you want spring attack, you better build your character right, not just at character creation, but you better build your character right at every level where you get new opportunities to take feats. Because if you don't build your stats right, and if you don't buy feats, including ones that are not very good, then you won't be able to take spring attack. Or you won't be able to take spring attack until later. And you know, like things like combat reflexes. Again, not a good feat usually, but combat reflexes is a prereq for things that you actually want. Anyway, all right. Clearly, I could argue about this horseshit forever. The reason I get so aggravated about this stuff, by the way, is I don't like seeing people go to play a game, go to become part of the experience of playing a game, and then have a super shitty experience, and then completely disengage with the hobby. They just go like, that was frustrating, that was unfun, I felt stupid, I felt like like I couldn't make the character I wanted to make without it just being pure garbage. I don't want people to have that sort of experience with the hobby that I work in. Whether it's tabletop or CRPG. And I know that aggravates some people, and some people would say like, well, I don't like the way that game plays. There are so many RPGs that do things in a way that I don't do them. It's okay. It's okay to not play Deadfire, clearly, because nobody did. But like, so many other games do that traditional style of character building. It's okay. All right. God, even these guys, like these noobs. Thanks, the only Garby. Okay. What is going on? Did he just take a massive amount of damage? Did I miss something? Did he just get a big spike of damage? Man, I am churning through the... How are these guys so damaging? God, what is up? 17 damage! What the fuck is going on? Are those longs? Oh, God. God, they're doing so much damage. He's in plate and chain. Like, I could put plate limbs on him, and he's taking strength damage. Oh my God. This is really rough. Oh, man. And I've barely wounded these guys. I've barely wounded them. What is going on? Gee whiz. Oh, God. Well, you know what? I just realized. Equip load. No, he's at normal load. Well, he's at normal load now. You know what? I gotta go. I gotta get. I gotta get wild on this. This is just too much. This is okay. Um, yeah, if this battle starts getting like ludicrous, then I'll reload and try just getting him at the door. But wowee, I would not have guessed that these guys would be. They're hitting me harder than the other guys. Yeah, being able to change armor in combat certainly like makes it a little silly, but come on, folks. How I'm just not like look, they're attacking so fast. And they're using longswords. Like, I have no, this is ridiculous. I gotta get these guys into a doorway. This is fucking incredible. Wow. I think it was Staff of St. Patrick. Yeah. 3,000 hours of Deadfire. Call Bluff. It has potions. And potions are kind of like grenades. I mean, you throw them and they can explode and do stuff like that. Whoops. Jeez. They are just. Whew. Okay. So. Mm. 58. Just crank that essence of crank that these stats through the roof. I don't know. So one thing that I did not do well in terms of building characters is I should have leaned super heavily into strength and endurance. Like mid 30s really just doesn't cut it, honestly. Pillars 1 is almost 5,000 hours. Holy shit, dude. That's a lot. Sorry. Sorry I'm being clumsy and dumb here. God. Okay, come on. 60. I'm just gonna go completely crazy with Essence of Grace here. Whew, man. This is some pre-buffing madness. Okay, wait, did I miss? Is Wolfie still in? Make sure she's got the 30 quality on. Okay. Zealots, eh? All right, folks. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Yeah, like I can't put more than. It's funny. I'm really like a casual. I stopped playing Mordhau, but I was really like playing it. I thought a lot, but not really because I only have like 200 hours in it, which is nothing for Mordhau. Yeah, competitive multiplayer you'll get crazy hours. I just don't have the time. I mean, my reflexes are slowing down now. I used to be pretty good at first person shooters and stuff like that, and not anymore. Not anymore. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna try some advanced player tactics here. That's whoops. Okay. Now let's see. No, I mean, Mordhau is the skill ceiling in Mordhau is so high that I'm like just dog shit at it, honestly. Like I I really wish I were good at it, but it's hard. All right, I'm gonna try some more flea dust here. Let's try some flea dust. By the way, okay, actually, so this is where in Pillars this came from. So not the most incredible thing, but so August, you see how when I'm throwing, so I can throw at him, which will move with him, or I can throw at the ground, and that will stay on the ground. So that's in Pillars, but I took it from Darklands. Come on! What am I even looking for in this? I hope this is like the way to go. Mm. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be berserking. Yeah, I think pre-buffing, like, that's another one of those things where I feel like, so let me tell an anecdote, and hopefully I won't get carried away and die while telling the anecdote. On Icewind Dale 1, gee whiz. On Icewind Dale 1, I was a new designer, and I was super cool on 82nd edition And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make everything super fucking like min-max crazy. And I like in college, my DM was ruthless, and so we had to min-max all the time and pre-buff like fucking psychos. And um, will I actually kill one of these guys? Yeah. Um, so I was designing these fights where I was like, this is just they were just super, super tough. What are you doing, man? And I designed some of these fights in the later parts of the game that were getting, or in the mid part of the game, like Dorn's Deep, Upper Dorn's Deep, that were, and lower. And, sorry, I'm distracting myself. Okay, here we go, folks. God, this is really unresponsive. Look at how much damage she's taken just already, and she was at like 60 some. And I had someone in QA, on Icewind Dale 1 who again considered themselves pretty experienced with CRPGs, came up and was just furious about a fight in Lower Dorn's Deep. And they're like, this is impossible. This is fucking impossible. This is so fucking bullshit. I can't believe you would put a fight like this in the game. I fucking hate this shit. And it's right on the critical path, and I can't get around it, and this is fucking ridiculous. And I'm like, okay, bud. So then he laughed, and I was like, is it really that hard? And then I asked my office mate, Kihan Hawk, who is also Psycho Gamer, and I was like, Keon, you did that fight, right? And he was like, yeah, it was okay. It was fine. And I was like, okay. So then I tested it, and I was like, nah, this is easy. This is like not hard. And then that tester came up, and because I wrote back, I'm like, I did it. It's no problem. See ya. And then the tester, which is not the right response. This was 21 years ago. So the tester came up, and the tester was like, bullshit. Show me how you did it. And I was like, okay. So I loaded up my save game, and right before the transition, I stopped, and I'm like, this is all pre-buffing. It's like potion, and this spell, and then this spell, and then this spell. And I'm like, first I cast this, because this has the longest duration, and then I cast this, because it gives me a speed buff on this thing, and then I cast that, and then beep, 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 beep. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, I'm pre-buffing for the fight. And he's like, how often do you do that? I'm like, every hard fight. Pretty much every fight in here. And he's like, what? I'm like, yes, interesting. The same thing happened, but the same thing that happened with Heart of Winter, which is even more aggressive. And yeah, then Heart of Winter was one that was crazy because when it shipped, Burial Isle, I designed Burial Isle, and the Barrel Whites and the Drowned Dead and the Wailing Virgins, like some of the testers were like, good balance, feels good fight, and then other ones were like, I can't fucking progress, like I just can't get through the game at all. And I'm like, oh, it seems like something is causing a big divide here. Yeah, like how much are you kiting? How much are you? It's all these sort of like really not super intuitive tactics necessarily, but people are like, yeah, you just do it. All right, can you guys please kill this dude? God, this monastery is so tedious. And I'm so ill-prepared. Well, all these mechanics tie together. I mean, I think rest mechanics are one of the trickiest things. Rest mechanics, buff mechanics. Like, you really have to think through how all these things interact with each other and the sort of behaviors that they essentially promote. Who the fuck are you attacking from the back row there? No way. Come on, man. I didn't design all the encounters in Icewind Dale 1. I designed, okay, let's fall back for a second here. I designed Loredorn's Deep, all of Loredorn's Deep. I designed Dragon's Eye. I designed Cresselak's Tomb. And then I helped with the Belhifet fight. They're Satanists. Yeah, that's it. They're mythological Satanists. Active in combat, like, and again, I totally get why people feel it's arbitrary bullshit that a lot of buffs are in combat only. How are you getting in this action? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on here, bud. I don't like this. But like fifth edition concentration, like basically having something where like buffs are they like replace each other, or there's stuff like that. That's probably a more elegant way to handle it. Combat only was my solution, and there are ways to exploit that too. So again, don't think I'm saying this like I think I'm fucking galaxy brain, like I got it all figured out. It works, but it is very arbitrary and artificial feeling. I get that people, and that means something. It's not unimportant. Yeah, so Tendales, or Tendales, why did I pronounce that Tendales? Tendales is probably how you want to pronounce it, right? In the Pillars tabletop game, I had this phase called Immediate that was kind of for buffing. It didn't really work that well, but that was the idea. It's like, oh, this is the time to activate buffs. And you get like one per round, kind of. It didn't... I had to revise that system, though. It didn't really work the way that how I thought it would work and how it did work were two different things. Oof. This is every person in this fight. Tendales, okay. Essence! Do. Hello. Oh, hello. This is so cheap, but these guys are fucking unbelievably aggressive. All right, here we go. Here we go. Now it's a fair fight. 4-on-2. Uh-oh, Wolfie needs a refresher. Yeah, paladin and a cleric with turn evil or turn undead. Yeah, I mean you'll just roast them. But that's one of those things too where like turn undead, it's like very like if there's undead, it'll be incredible. It'll be super powerful. And if there's not, it's just a power that you don't get to use at all. Which, some powers that's okay, but if it's like a foundational, like, this is part of my class, sometimes that can be frustrating. Although no one would say there's not enough undead in Pillars of Eternity. What a riveting session for you folks. Where I'm just like, story about pre-buffering reminded you of the time you made a deliberate effort to show a friend of mine how absolutely OP warlocks were in 3.5. Yep. Poor August. August isn't getting any action. Connie. Come on. All right, Connie, tap out. Tap out. It's time for Big August to step in. Clearly. 50 might, yeah. Okay. Man. What a rush. I hope there are no more zealots in this dungeon. I like that this dungeon has like bears, Templars, zealots. Infinite magic is pretty wild. I do think it's hard because I want spaces to feel like I want spaces to feel like the creatures that you find in them, there's something about it that makes sense narratively. That doesn't necessarily need to be explained in a dialogue, but that somehow it makes sense. And I think that if you have a dungeon where it's like a monoculture where it's just the same creatures over and over, it's not fun. The fights just start feeling the same. Um, so it's tricky because I like I like I like dungeon spaces to feel for being dungeon spaces that they make sense, but you also got to throw in some curveballs. It's like one of the things in White March. Bobby Null and Ryan Torres and I worked on a battle in there where you have Zorips, and I'm like, man, you just fight so many Zorips for so long, and I think people are going to be really exhausted of fighting Zorips. And so we made some new subtypes of Zorips, and then we also made Thralls, and we're like, uh, call it a Thrall. It's just a troll, but we suggested that somehow it's been entranced by the Zorips, and now the fight becomes a little more interesting. There you go. Woo! St. Dunstan's hammer. Oh wait, I wanted it on Wolfie. Okay. I'm gonna try wielding St. Dun. Actually, let me just look up. St. Dunstan's hammer, Darklands. Hmm. Sorry, just a second. I don't know what this relic does. Well, I've told people quite a few times that like I had an idea for Icewind Dale 3 where the whole party were just goblinoids. Like you were all goblins and kobolds and bugbears and things like that, which probably would have been a balancing nightmare and very very difficult to just make for a lot of reasons. Um, but I think that could have been cool and certainly very different. Dunstan's hammer. Okay, it's a little teeny guy. Okay, Connie. I'm just gonna save one more time. I'm sorry, I'm just keep creeping. Creep saving. Fallout 4 enemies did make a pretty good use of the environment. I mean, they use cover. I mean, that's like the basic thing. Okay, here we go. Here we go. What's going to be behind this door? You know what, folks? I'm going to call it here for tonight because I'm becoming fatigued. Can't go on. I will resume this though. I got to be getting to the top of this tower. This is too much right now. This is too much. But I will resume here next time. And HK, I've played a little bit of the first Stalker and then Call of Pripyat. I played quite a bit of Call of Pripyat and I liked it. Yeah, I just don't want to do another of these, like, it's just going to be really tedious and me sitting in the doorway and killing these guys, and I don't want to deal with this Templar or this Alchemist right now, so yeah. All right, well, as always, thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you next time.